Oh, well, hey, babe. It's Jamie. That's me here. Welcome back to my channel. Listen, let's go ahead and get into F-Boy Island episodes 4 through 6, honey. Let's talk about it. Okay, so episode 4 opened up with the F boys getting them some therapy as they need. Okay, now everybody is over there talking about Garrett being an F boy because y'all know on the last episode, I can't think of the guy's name. Was it Matt? He ended up dropping the bomb on Garrett and how Garrett was still seeing his girl. Okay, somebody he got a girlfriend at home, so everybody's pretty much talking about the fact that Garrett is an F boy. Nakia feels like Garrett was saving face instead of caring about her good homegirl Miss Sarah. But I don't care how Miss Sarah feel because I feel a way about Miss Sarah sit up here really actually giving chances and chances to an F boy like Garrett. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. Okay, now when it comes down to Casey, I feel a way about Casey. Now this is before everything was revealed. Okay, I'm in episode 4, so I'm feeling like Casey is an F boy right off the bat. Okay, I'm feeling like he's an F boy because he's friends with Garrett and he says that he doesn't know his past. And I'm like, well, how is it that you're saying that Garrett is your best friend in the house, but X, Y, and Z know information about Garrett, but you don't? You're a motherfucking liar, and you're a lie for your friend, and your friend a lie for you. And based off that information, I do not trust, okay, Casey, also known as CJ himself. No, ma'am. Okay. Now Garrett continues to lie to the cameras about him liking Sarah, honey. I'm like, Garrett, baby, you full of SHI and a piece of a T. So get the hell on. Let me tell y'all, Garrett is just great at acting, and that's just on P. Let's move on. Sarah and Gary, he go over there trying to have a conversation, but Nakia and CJ ain't really featuring him or trying to hear what he talking about. And I'm with them. But of course, Sarah gives him the opportunity and lets him talk. Okay. Now Gary starts talking in circles, in my opinion, and he was lying. Okay. I like how Sarah pretty much like was like, nah, this shit a little shaky for me and I don't really know about it. Like, I don't trust you. But at the same time, I don't like that Sarah continued to keep him around. I'm like, girl, you know he on that FS. Why is you playing with the girls, ma'am? Let's go ahead and move on, okay? What else? Casey is planning to talk with CJ, okay? Because Casey done had a talk with Garrett, and Garrett afraid he probably gonna leave the damn island, honey, okay? So Casey feel like he gonna go over there and have a conversation with CJ to make sure that he gonna be straight, because obviously he saw CJ save Chris in the last episode, so he feels as though the same thing probably could happen to his homeboy. Maybe he could get CJ to go talk to his girl Sarah. And I'm like, baby, you gonna keep on until you mess around and get yourself messed up. And did he do it? He did, but we gonna keep talking about it. Let's keep going, okay? CJ asked Casey why is I loved it. She said, why are you married to Garrett? What is that about? Why are you married to Garrett? I was so here for it. Casey lying, acting like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She was like, did you know that he had a girlfriend? He was like, no, I ain't know nothing about it. Liar, 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 pants on fire. Okay, Casey is an F boy because F boys stick together on period. Okay, now when it comes down to Jared, okay, Jared called Colin and Nakia kissing. I am not a fan of Jared. Let me go and get this out of the way, and I want Jared to leave the island. I am not a fan. I feel like he is fake as hell, and we'll get into that a little later. Okay, he says that he wants to withdraw. Laugh my ass off. I don't like the fact that he wants to be in control, and he's not in control. Okay, it's tons of guys that's interested in her, so they're gonna at some point kiss her. So why are you feeling away because somebody else kissed her? Okay, he's feeling real mad, and I don't like that. Like that's whack. But anyway, where else am I? OG Jared, so they did this dance competition where Nakia's team won, and I believe OG was on the OG Jared was on the team. He was like, I don't care nothing about this competition. I'm more so concerned about having a conversation with Nakia, okay, about what happened last night. Because he was trying to talk to her the night before because he didn't like the fact that she was up there kissing Colin. And I'm like, who are you to approach her and tell her what you don't like about her kissing another man when it's all these men in a house and it's up to her choosing to choose who she want to be with and who she don't want to be with and kiss who she want and who she don't want? Who the hell are you thinking that you can control that? See, I don't know about him, and that's why I don't like him. Okay, now I think that Colin and Nakia are cute. You know, I think that there is a connection there. Very interesting. OG Jerry ends up catching up with her though, and he apologizes to her about his actions the night before. I'm like, baby, don't apologize. Just leave the island. Like, can you go? Can you just leave the island? Because we really don't want you there, Jared. Okay. Jared, for me, has blown up enough times for Nakia to be like, you know what? I see you for your worst. But Miss Kia, you know, she hard-headed. All right. And Nakia is drawn to F-boys. Okay. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be. All right. I'm like, this man has cut you off in conversation when he felt like he didn't want to deal with something that he actually brought to you. All right. When he didn't want to deal with it, he tried to throw it away. Then he tried to flex up on you and front you about you kissing somebody else. And I feel like it was something else that Jerry has done that I can't think of. But I'm like, girl, this man has done enough. Send him on his way. All right. What else is going on? I was shocked to see that Miss Sarah decided to go out on a date with Chris the rat. Okay, yeah, the house rat. Chris thinks that she's interested, so he's going to go after her. Okay, and straight out the gate, I'm like, Chris is the F-boy. We already knew that based on how he was moving in the house and ratting people out and all that. I'm like, Chris, you such an F-boy, baby. You can move along, period. Okay, when it comes to Nakia kisses OG Jared as well at a later time. I think this could have been when they probably got like a nightcap or something. They allowed them to stay over for a nightcap. So she ends up bringing him along, and you know, Colin was pissed off because Colin thought that it was gonna be him because he's been her strongest connection in the house the entire time. Well, that's just not the MFing case. Okay, so when it came down to it, she ended up inviting OG Jared back, and what I did not like was how he hovered over her, ready to kill. Like, it was something about it, and maybe it's just because I'm not a fan of his, like the way he hovered over her as she was talking, like he was ready to go in and go and get the kiss. I'm like, let it flow, let it genuinely happen. It's like you wanted to, it seemed like he was in a hidden competition in a sense, like he kissed her, so I want to make sure that I'm in a position to say that I kissed her too, type thing. Like, I don't like him. I do not like OG Jared. I need him to leave. Anyway, so Casey tries to check CJ. First of all, he trying to have his back of his good friend Garrett, who ain't no mother good. CJ sees right through it, okay, and then he tries to check her. And then he says something like, you and my friends are on the same level of importance to me. You guys are 50-50, like you're not no better than them and this and that. And I'm like, sir, you just met this man, unless you knew this man before you got here. Okay, just like you just now meeting her, but your sole purpose for coming on this show was to get with her. Okay, get with Miss CJ and stuff. That's your claim to fame. So why are you having more loyalty to this NIGGA instead of having loyalty to the woman you're trying to be with? Yeah, some didn't add up, some didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it. Okay, so she didn't like that either, and she decided to say, oh baby, that's the dead then. You thought you was gonna come back to the room with me. You're not coming back nowhere. So she pretty much put him out. He was supposed to have a nightcap with her, but she sent him on his way packing, and I was here for it. Okay, she told him, you know what, okay, because he said something like, I know you want to control all the other men in the house, but you're not going to control me. You're not going to dictate how I move or whatever like that. And she just looked at him, and I thought she kind of liked being checked, but she got up. She said, CJ, you seem to may have gotten things confused at how it works in this house. She was like, you're getting a little too comfortable. I said, come on, CJ. Come on, girl. Okay, as you talk to your man, CJ, come on. So when it came down to it at the end of the night, episode 4, when it came down to the eliminations, who got eliminated? Kevin. Okay, he ended up being a nice guy. Sarah eliminated Cameron. I think he ended up being a nice guy. And then I think Tariq got eliminated. And I think Tariq ended up being a F-boy. All right, but what ended up happening was actually what ended up happening when I thought that they were going to get eliminated. Everybody, it was a double elimination. So CJ ended up putting, what's his name? Casey, also known as CJ. She put him on the block to possibly be eliminated. So when they chose who they were going to eliminate, she originally did not say Casey was going to be one of the guys that was going to be eliminated, which was hilarious. Girl, the host said, yeah, we see y'all already made y'all decision on who y'all finna eliminate, but we as a collective have decided to do a double elimination. So all 6 of you guys can go ahead and exit stage left, baby. Let me tell y'all something. Casey was mad. Casey was pissed off. He had to read Miss CJ, honey. He had to tell her about her stuff, tell her the issues she got going on, how she ain't good at communicating, and how she is as a woman and stuff, and how she don't deserve none of these men up here. Like, he was really upset. He go outside to do his little interview or whatever. She walks up, you know, she seemed like she was really sad. I did feel bad, even though I felt like he was an F-boy, because I don't like his stance he took with his friend, because his friend is full of SHI and a T. I did feel like CJ and Casey had the strongest connection. They were super cute. I will say that. I do think that Casey is very handsome. He's a very handsome guy. So I kind of hated to have seen him go. My mouth dropped. I was shocked. I was like, dang, I wanted him to stay in the house a little longer. But it didn't really work out that way. So it is what it is. What it ended up being was Anthony, Kevin, and Casey ended up being F-boys. But Paul, Tariq, and Cameron ended up being nice guys. So they got 3 of each out the house. Okay, so let's move on to episode 5. Casey, of course, he's going off. on CJ, tell her about herself or whatever. Moving on, Colin is still Colin, first of all, I like Sarah and Josh. Okay, I really like the two of them. Yes, yes, yes. Colin is still mad that Jared got to stay the night in the villa, and he did it. So he's pressed about that. Sarah's continuing to eat up all of the BS that Garrett is feeding her. She's going with the flow. Okay, and I don't like it. CJ calls the new Jared a brat, and I'm like, how you gonna call the new Jared a brat? So basically, she was having a conversation with him. Somebody walked up, and I think it was Jomar or somebody walked up wanting to have a conversation with CJ, and new Jared is like, bro, don't you see me sitting up here talking to her? Like, why you trying to ease in on what I got on? Like, chill out. And she asked him, why are you being a brat? I said, the audacity of you to say this man is acting like a brat when that's all that you do. Okay, so it was what it was. It's something about that word brat that she loves to throw around. I don't ever want to see CJ on reality TV again. That's just, you know, my personal. But I mean, she has entertaining moments, and then other times I think she's doing the most. Okay, so let's move on. Chris calls Josh a BIT, honey. Yes, Chris calls Josh a BIT. So what happened was Sarah and Josh were like chit-chatting and stuff like that. And then I think Chris ended up pulling her or wanted a conversation with her. No, I'm lying. So Sarah and Josh were having a conversation. Chris walked up and wanted to get in the conversation or something like that. Basically, Josh was hovering over Sarah, but Sarah was never telling Josh to not be around her. She liked it. She enjoyed the conversation and everything. And so he gets mad. He was telling Josh, like, yo, you could chill out. You ain't got to be up under her like that all the time. And so he calls him, and he says that it's a BIT move. Basically, it's a bitch move that you over there making. So Josh had to check him. Okay. So Josh checks him, and then as they're arguing, Sarah comes over and she gets clued in about it. And she told Chris, like, he shouldn't have been mad about her being pulled away by Josh, being pulled away to have some time with him, because that's how it normally goes. She said that if she wanted to stay and have a conversation with him, being Chris, that's what she would have did. And I said, come on, Miss Sarah, let him know what's going on. Okay, let him know what the hell is going on. So it's time for another nightcap or whatever, and it looks like CJ is connected with Sean, and this is the person that Casey told her she don't deserve, Sean. Then we see Nakia decides to bring Greg back for a nightcap. And y'all know Greg is the guy from TikTok. And I just pinpointed him being a fuckboy far away. And he gives me not so much as an F-boy, but so much as a wannabe F-boy type thing. And it's like, you don't even have that much swag about yourself, you know? So whatever girls are falling for you, I'm questioning their security within themselves. Yikes. Let's go ahead and move on. So Sarah still giving Garrett chances, still out here giving this man chances. I am tired of Garrett. Hear me, okay? When it comes down to eliminations, it wasn't no elimination in episode 5, but everybody had to reveal what their status was, and that's when we learned. Of course, I knew Josh was a nice guy. Welcome was an F-boy. I was surprised to hear about that. Jomar was an F-boy. I didn't think he would be an F-boy based on him not being in a relationship. But then on the other side, I was like, he could be, because maybe he out here just smashing these girls and not getting in a relationship. And that's exactly what he does. And how he was in his interview versus how he was showing himself off on in front of the ladies, like how he was presenting himself, two different people. So definitely an F-boy. Fernando, nice guy. Shocking, was not expecting that. Nice guy. Sean, nice guy, of course. Greg, F-boy. Doug, Colin, F-boy. Yep. Well, I was kind of hopeful for him, but something was telling me he was an F-boy. New Jared, nice guy. I know a lot of y'all, just because he looked like Russell Wilson and stuff, and the way he led in, even though we all believe Russell Wilson is a nice guy, but the way he was leading and moving about so throughout the villa and amongst the men made us think that he could have been an F-boy, but he was actually a nice guy. When it came down to Chris, of course, was an F-boy. And CJ was up there trying to act all surprised. I said, baby, not CJ trying to act surprised. Okay, girl, you got somebody in here that's the F-boy telling you about the other F-boys. Yeah, you got played too, you fool. When it came down to Gary, of course, F-boy. Okay, when it came down to OG Jerry, something initially I was an F-boy. Baby, it ain't no initially. That's what the fuck it is now. Because his clown self gonna stand up there and tell Nakia that he's falling in love with her. I said, if this baby ain't lying, you are lying. Send him to the back. Go ahead and escort him expeditiously. Okay, escort him expeditiously, okay, over there to his sandbox. That's where his ass need to go, because he's full of it, talking about how he falling in love with her, and Nakia's stupid self just eating it it up like, oh my God, her eyes getting all glossy and stuff. I'm like, girl, you are not about to fall for this. Look, I know you're not. I am not a fan of OG Jerry. And I am so glad that she does know that he's the F boy. So now that she can question his motives. But he got aired out. And I'm so glad the boys aired him out because, like I said, I do not trust him, okay? All of the guys that Nakia was interested in, like Jared, OG Jared, like Greg, like Colin, all of them are F boys. Okay, so Nakia came on here talking about how she could point out an F boy. No, ma'am, you can't. Okay, but you sure know how to pick them to be with one. Okay, now the girls go through the guys' IG, and what did we find out? We find out that Gary actually indeed has a girlfriend. Both of them still got their pictures up on their page. The girl happens to be Lauren from Love Island 2, episode 2, and I did not like Lauren at all because Lauren was trying to tell us that she was like in her early 20s or something. And I said, that's cap, ma'am. You got to be in your late 30s with that face. Because this right here up in this area, ma'am, all of this looks old. Okay, you look actually old around your mouth area. I'm like, I refuse to believe this woman is in her early 20s or however old she tried to convince us. And I cringed. I said, I can't wait for her to go. But that's just what it was, okay? Anywho, she's from Love Island season 2. So I feel like they probably still messing around and she was sitting up there just pretty much lying for him so he can get his coin and continue to get his money. All right. But anywho, what else do we have? I already told y'all how much I can't stand OG Jerry, and I hope that she sends him home. But she didn't. Instead, she decided to take him on another date with a clown, kissing out on him all on the beach, having a good time. And I was rolling my eyes like, girl, leave this muscle-bound dummy where he is, okay? Garrett wants to FaceTime his ex, okay? CJ focused on the new Jared. They go on a date, they have a good time. Now Sarah goes on a date with Josh, but all she do is talk about Gary. And I was like, I was with Josh. Josh said, no, she didn't bring me on a date. Not her bringing me on a date, and all she doing is talking about another dude. I was like, hello, that's disrespectful as hell. Okay, you're giving me Cash and Charlie talking about Cinco, girl, from Love Island. No, ma'am, I didn't like it at all. Okay, so then Sarah and Gary FaceTime his ex Lauren of Love Island season 2. Okay, and he ended up not liking how it went down. But I'm like, baby girl was really speaking in favor of you. When the girl said, can you trust him? When Sarah asked Lauren, can I trust him? Lauren said, mm-hmm. So I don't know why he got mad about that, but he got up and walked off. I said, oh, this nigga acting. I said, oh, he acting, baby. This is what he doing. So you acting. That's what you doing. Okay, then you're doing the most. And then he wants to, cause see, he's a bona fide F boy. He knows the things to do to make a woman feel a way in any type of emotion. He knows the cards to play. Any woman that I've tried to get close to, she's always thought this and that. I'm like, girl, you can eat it up. I hope Sarah eats it up just so she can get played, because all of the signs are in her face, but she's not trying to see any of them. Okay. Colin calls out OG Jerry. I was so happy for it for not being authentic. Colin calls his car for saying he is in love with her, but don't even know her. I loved it. He was like, you say you in love with her, right? He was like, yeah. He said, what's her last name? He was like, I don't know. He said, so you've been spending all this time with her and you don't even know her last name? He was like, what does this have to do with anything? He said, I'm trying to figure out how you say that you in love with somebody, but you don't know nothing about him. I said, come on, Colin. And when she asked everybody around the villa, people that weren't even interested in her felt as though OG Jared was capping. I loved it. Do you hear me? Because it felt like, for me, he was getting that payback from when he tried to flex up on new Jared and stuff. When he tried to squeeze his muscle bound self without even saying excuse me. He trying to like punk somebody. Only ended up getting punked because new Jared joked his ass out, and then here you go. Now you're getting called out for your antics, talking about some I am falling in love with you. What a fake, bro. He is such a manipulator. 1000%. I'm so glad they called this card. What did I say? I said OG Jerry is a manipulator and he seeks control. Okay, Nakia called his card about how he acts when he gets upset, and she says that she's not sure if he's gonna try to do the same thing to her if she did something where she made him mad. And I'm like, girl, you tried to talk about something, he tried to cut you off and tell you, y'all, he done talking about it. Okay, but you still up there entertaining him. You're a clown just like Sarah. But let's move on. So Colin was not getting his foot off of Jared's neck, OG Jared's neck, and I was here for. I was like, baby, press down a little harder on that neck for me. Okay, when it came down to it, elimination, who ended up getting eliminated? I'm trying to see. So CJ chose Sean and new Jared. Sarah chose Welcome and Garrett. And then Fernando, Greg, Colin, and OG. I can't remember who got eliminated. Did anybody get eliminated? I know they did. Who got eliminated on this episode? I can't remember who all got eliminated on the 4th episode. I feel like I think Chris got eliminated one of those episodes, and I feel like maybe somebody else. I can't remember, but I think it was 2 people that ended up getting eliminated. So once they get to the island or whatever, we see that Casey has escaped FBOY Island, and he's making his way back to the villa so that he can find CJ in hopes of probably being with her. That's gonna be a whole mess, but we're gonna have to wait until next week to see it. But that's all I got. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of FBOY Island. Okay, leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.